You have to stop looking at your earning in terms of equivalency for effort and begin looking at your receiving. Let's change the word earning to receiving. And let's change effort to vibration, to personal vibrational offering. Can you hear the difference? Because if it's about earning and effort, then you're right. You're limited to how much you can do. You're limited to how many things you can accomplish, or to how many people that you can convince about the value of what you're offering. But when you understand that it's not about earning, it's about receiving. And it's not about effort, it's about vibration. So it's not about doing, it's about thinking. And it's not even so much about being aware of your thought as it is being aware of how you feel when you think the thought. Now you've got the formula. If your desire or dream, goal, if it pleases you when you think about it, then you're in the right vibrational stance. But if it feels like disappointment, or it feels like a challenge, or it feels like something that you haven't figured out yet, or it feels like a dilemma, or it feels like injustice because you see others have figured it out and you haven't. So you really have to think and feel and think and feel. So what you do is you dream a little about what you're wanting. The thing that trips a lot of people up is that they want a state of being. Like they will say, I desire enough financial abundance that I can do whatever I want. And we want to say, you got it backwards. It is the doing what you want that causes the alignment with the vortex, that takes away the resistance, that then brings the abundance to support whatever you want. The money isn't the means to the happy life. The happy life is the means to the money. But how can I feel happy in this moment when I'm working harder than I want to work on things that I would rather not do? And we say, because you have the ability to think around it. First, you have the ability to appreciate more of what you are doing. You have the ability to say more positive things than negative things. You have the ability to look for more positive aspects and fewer negative aspects. You have the ability to appreciate others more than criticizing them. You have the ability to appreciate yourself more than criticizing yourself. You have the ability to focus even when you're just looking at what is, in a much more productive, meaning good feeling way. And if all you were doing was just looking into your now for things that you could appreciate or praise, you would shift your vibration enough that it would raise to the vibrational level of what's in your vortex, of what you've been dreaming about. But what's tripping you up, and it trips almost everybody up, is this comparison between where I am and where I want to be. So what you have to start doing is you have to say, I'm going to go there in my mind. And we know that has to be incredibly annoying, but that is the path. Because if you can't get there in your mind, you can't get there.
Right.
And what humans keep demanding of us, they keep saying, I don't want to get there in my mind. That feels foolish. I want to be there so I can get there.
Right.
If I was just there, then I'd get there. And we say, there's a journey between where you are and where you want to be. It is not a work journey. It's not an effort journey. It's not a getting hired journey. It's not even a great idea for a great product that the world wants journey. It's a vibrational journey. It's the difference between praising and criticizing. It's the difference between smiling and frowning. It's the difference between dragging yourself across the parking lot and skipping yourself across the parking lot. It's the difference between loving and hating. It's the difference between feeling good more of the time and feeling bad more of the time. That's the only difference, because you've been living life and you've put it into the vortex. Your vortex is full of everything that you want. And it is a vibrational speed that you usually aren't at, because you are like most people. You are observing what is instead of dreaming about what will be. If you thought a negative thought and a brick would fall on your head every time, you'd clean up your thinking. But you're not here to be punished about your thinking. You're here to understand your thinking. You're here to use your thinking, your focus, to create. And it is such a delicious experience to come into conscious awareness that what I'm thinking right now and what I'm feeling about it is setting into motion something in my vibrational future. And what I'm thinking right now, most important, what I'm thinking right now is bringing me close to many things that are already in my vibrational future. Can you see how someone could get they're heartbroken, and then they could get sick, and then they could lose all of their money, and then they could wreck their car all in the same week. In other words, it's easy to understand how they get focused in that place of despair, and then the only thoughts that they have access to are thoughts like that, and so they just beat the drum of it, beat the drum of it, beat the drum of it. And if they've been doing it for a while, then their vibrational escrow is full of all that kind of stuff, and in a very short period of time, they begin manifesting the results of how they've been feeling, you see. So we don't want you to be afraid of your vibrational escrow. It's full of wonderful things, too. But we want you to be aware of what you're doing vibrationally, because we want you to know which way you're going along this journey. We want you to know when you're headed toward what you want or when you're headed away from what you want. You can tell by the way you feel whether you are moving toward what you want or whether you are moving in opposition to what you want. That's what your guidance system is all about. You understand that, don't you? Never again will you ever feel negative emotion and not know what it means. So just stop and laugh, and most of all, make peace with where you are. That's the most important thing that we want you to leave this room with today. Because if you're here relative to money or relative to abundance of any kind or relative to wellness or relative to relationship, if you're here and you want to be here and you're condemning the fact that you're here, you cannot budge at all toward what you want, because your condemnation of where you are is holding you so much here. It's as if you've got your feet nailed to the floor. You've got to make peace with where you are. And think about it. When you give yourself a break, or when you give somebody else a break, when you try to make it better, when you try to make the best of something, don't you feel relief when you do that? Have you ever made a mistake? And have you ever been in a situation where someone whose opinion you care very much about noticed that you had made the mistake? And then have you ever had the benefit of that person who you care very much about their opinion, who saw you make the mistake? Have you ever seen them laugh and say, "Isn't that the way we all do?" Esther tells people, "The reason I'm so smart is because I've made all of those mistakes. I made them all." And then she offers a joke, like the one-armed alligator wrangler, she says, "We learn as we go." In other words, looking for a way or a reason to diffuse the feeling. And when someone does that in the midst of your feeling uncomfortable about your mistake, what do you feel? You feel relief, don't you? In other words, someone has helped you make peace with where you are. When you try to make the best of something, you move closer into vibrational alignment with what you want. When you try to make the worst of it, you're moving in opposition. So why does anybody make the worst of it? Why do you make the worst of something? Well, you make the worst of it because every fiber of your being knows that things are supposed to go well for you. And when they're not going well, you're sort of freaking out because you know it is supposed to be better. Now, here's an important thing. Source knows what you're asking for, and only has a vibration about what you are really asking for. So this is interesting. When you feel like you don't have enough money, and it causes you, just for a moment, to send off a rocket, "I would like more money," meaning I want more freedom, I want more experience, your inner being becomes the essence of the freedom and the essence of the experience. Your inner being extracts from that vibrational contrasting experience what you do want, because that's what your inner being does. Your inner being never focuses on the drama or the trauma or the trouble or the lack, ever. So from your synthesizing of life, you are emitting pure desires that your inner being is recognizing, focusing on, and taking as inner being point of attraction. Now, do you accept there's you and your inner being? Do you accept that your inner being is offering a vibration and that law of attraction is responding to your inner being's vibration, just like law of attraction is responding to yours? So when you ask for more prosperity, your inner being immediately becomes the equivalent of more prosperity. But if you don't immediately become the equivalent of prosperity vibrationally, as in being optimistic or anticipation, then there's a vibrational difference between you and your inner being, and that's when you feel doubt or fear or worry or jealousy or anger or whatever those feelings around money often are. But you've got to find some way of syncing up with the way your inner being feels about this. And when you do, now there's no contradiction in your vibration. There's no tug of war going on. Now you and your powerful inner being are standing in the eye of the vortexual hurricane that law of attraction is causing around you, and more money is coming to you. But in your anticipation, positive anticipation, you're letting it in. You're not keeping it out. Now that's just the law-based explanation of how the money comes to you. Now another way that we are wanting to explain this to you is that when you feel good, you're in sync with your inner being. And when you're in sync with your inner being, that means you're in what we're calling the receptive mode of what your inner being has already amassed and attracted. So if you can accept the prosperity that your inner being already is, then you can be the receptive translator of that vibrational prosperity into the manifestation of what you want. This non-physical aspect of you that exists, that is attracting the things that you are asking for to this specific vibrational context that you now have ready access to, this is a reality. But because you can't translate it yet, then you often see absence of money rather than presence of money, even though there is a vibrational presence of money. How do I turn these thoughts to things? Because I can't spend the idea of money. I'm worried, I'm afraid. So what does that mean? So that means you're not looking at the money that's coming in the way that your inner being is looking at the money that's coming. Where does anything come from? Everything comes out of the vortex. All cooperative components have already been assembled for the completion of whatever it is you have vibrationally become. You don't have enough money, you ask for more. In this vibrational reality, it's already there. You want someone to fund some important project in your vibrational vortex of creation, it's already done. You want a physical improvement because you are living some sickness, you are in pain or distress in some way. You've asked for it, and in your vortex of creation, the solution, the well-being has already come. So it's going to take some willingness to accept the existence of this vibrational reality. But if you can do it, and if you can focus yourself in the direction of your vibrational reality, if you can train yourself because you want to feel good into the vibration of this vibrational reality, everything in your physical experience must morph to match that singular vibration that you are offering. In other words, it's your split vibration that is messing things up. I want more money, but I don't have enough. I want more money, but I don't have enough. No improvement ever comes from that. I want more money. More money would be good for me. More money would give me more flexibility. With more money, I would have more fun. With more money, I would feel the ease of creating in the way I want to. With more money, I could have more delicious experiences. With more money, I could be of more value to others. With more money, I could fulfill more of my reason for being. With more money, I will experience so many more of the things that I've been asking for. With more money, I will be more in alignment with who I've become. With more money, I'm in alignment with the prosperity that is me. Now, that conversation is all about who you really are and what you really want. And just with that much conversation, you have trained yourself into the vibrational frequency that allows more money. And with a little bit of conversation like that every now and again, then when you say, I don't have enough money, you hear the buzzer go off. You feel the discord in the verbiage. You feel the discord and then can say, wait a minute. It is my intention not to beat the drum of the absence of what I want. It is my intention to stand with Source in my vortex and beat the drum of who I really am and what I really want. And when you turn your attention just in that slight of an example, you feel the relief as the discord leaves, and you feel the ensuing strength and clarity as the alignment ensues. And inside the vortex, in this vibrational state of being where you have rid yourself of resistance by your determination to align with who you really are, now you're in the vortex. You are finally now a cooperative component to your own desire. And when you are a cooperative component to your own desire, now you have full view of circumstances and events. Now, even though you've been meeting up with people all along that could be the path to many of the things you want, you're zigging while they're zagging because you're not in the vortex. You've put so much in your vortex. It's time for you to go there too.